Doughnuts. Welcome to the Dolls and Donuts podcast, episode 57. I can't believe that. In today's episode, we will cover what's going on with the animal rights community, what's been happening in Robin's Vegan Dollhouse, and we'll be chatting with Courtney of VEGWORLD Magazine. Can you believe it's episode 57 and we had talked to Courtney on episode 9?
I know, that's so long ago. Episode 9. I can't even imagine. We were babies. Well, I'm really excited to chat with her again because the episode we chatted with her before was an on the road episode, and you know those aren't super what is the word, structure.
No, we were just winging it, talking about hum. That was when we discovered hum.
Oh yeah. The coconut lime kombucha. That was my favorite kombucha for years after that.
Yeah, so we just kind of like flew by her and we just asked her what she thought. So it wasn't even like a real interview. It was just like a flyby. What do you think? And that was it. So it'd be nice to find out what more she's up to since then. I mean, that was like a billion years ago, it feels like.
Yeah, I think everybody will be excited to meet her. She's a fun person for sure. Okay, I think it's time for Ask Ashley.
That's me.
So Ashley, what's up with the animals lately?
Okay, so let's see. Good, bad. Okay, we have a good story and a bad story. But I'll keep it brief. So the first article is from TimesUnion.com, and the headline is "Ban on Sale of Animals in Pet Stores Passes New York Senate." So this was a bill that was up for consideration earlier in the year, and then like most things, well, COVID happened, so a lot of things got kind of pushed to the wayside and, had to be put on hold because of the obvious health crisis that we're dealing with. And so let's see, it said this was so at the end of July, so pretty recently when this will get posted, they had kind of like a flurry, like where they tried to catch up and like go through a lot of bills and everything. So that's why this was kind of had a lot of buzz in the beginning of the year, and then it was just obviously, radio silence, and then now all of a sudden it's come up again because they were trying to get through a lot of stuff. So it was passed, and it still has to go to the assembly, but with COVID and everything, I'm not sure when that will happen. But a lot of people are really happy about it, obviously. So this means that pet stores can't sell animals from puppy mills. And I don't know if that means they can make like kind of a partnership with rescues or the pound, like the city pound or whatever, to like have those animals there. I'm not sure if that's going to be an option. So with so many good animals in need of rescue, there's no need for pet stores to sell animals that predominantly come from abusive puppy and kitten mills. And that four-legged companions should be treated with respect, not like commodities. And they said that the person that sponsored the bill said, Michael Gangaris of Queens said that, people usually are drawn to the classic like puppy in the window like image, and it looks great on paper or in the image, image of the puppy in the pet store window is great, but you don't see how that animal gets there and what the animal parents, are still there pumping out more puppies and everything. So there's a lot behind the scenes that families and kids don't see when they go to a puppy store, and it's just a cute little puppy, and what could be wrong with that, right? So that's kind of like some of the image they're trying to dispel with this bill as well. So there are 80 retail stores that are licensed to sell animals as well, that they would be impacted by this. But proponents of the bill say the bulk of revenue for those stores is for merchandise, not animal sales. So it won't be a huge drain on their companies or their businesses. Of course, they have their critics. Some other that actually are pet stores saying that it's going to affect them, obviously. And like I said earlier, I don't know if this could open up partnerships or anything like that to where they can still sell animals, or but they have to be obviously from rescues or anything like that.
A year ago or so, we reported that we passed this in California, right?
I believe so. It's been so long. So much has happened.
I know. It has been. It's probably more than a year ago at this point, honestly. I'm so old that times just goes by faster than I think it does. But I wonder if you remember what the kind of like partnership situation was with that one. Like in California, are the pet stores now selling rescue animals?
I feel like I remember vaguely. And if I can find that article, I will. What we're talking about right now, the California one, I will put it in the show notes as well, just so as a reference. But I believe it said that they had to be rescue animals.
Yeah, I think so too. So I wonder if New York is similar.
Yeah, there's no mention of that in this, so that's why I'm kind of like, maybe that will come. But yeah, and of course the critics are saying that people should have the ability to adopt or shop. And this bill does not discount going to a breeder, because their idea for keeping the breeding in play is that you go there and you see the buyer goes there and sees the conditions that the animals are living in. There's not this like screen of the pet store. So while we don't agree with breeding, as far as conditions go, like the buyer is going into the conditions where the animal is, living and being bred. So that's their stance on that.
That's a really good point. I kind of like that. I like that you brought that up, because it's true. People need to be making those connections of where things are coming from.
So you can still go to a breeder, but you can't go to a pet store and buy an animal. So let's see. And so they just went on to talk about New York has a few puppy mills in the state, but they don't sell to the state. They sell out of the state. And usually puppy mills sell cross state lines. They sell all over the country and stuff. So, this is, even if they did something with the puppy mills in New York, it's not going to stop puppies coming into the pet stores of New York in New York State. So this kind of like cuts it off at the head. So that's great news. We'll see how that progresses, probably slowly considering the state of things right now. With, different governments being in session. I'm sure that'll at a snail's pace, but whatever. Everything moves at a snail's pace anyway when you're talking about politics. So at least it's going. So that's great news for New York. So good on them, especially with everything else going on, to still keep these things in mind. And then the next story is from veggies.com, and the headline is Nike, Dick's Sporting Goods, and other retailers exposed for illegally selling kangaroo skins in California.
What? What the fuck is that?
And I'm like, look at that little kangaroo face on this article. Oh, so cute. How could you ever want to wear that little skin or eat it? Because people eat kangaroo too. Okay. So a large number of retailers are selling what they call KLeather in soccer shoes, which have been banned. I don't know if it says when they were banned. Okay, it went into effect in 2016, banning the sale and import of athletic shoes made with kangaroo leather, with a penalty of up to $5,000 or 6 months in jail for each violation. And this was uncovered that this was still happening. The Center for Humane Economy, CHE, so they did an investigation, and they found that 2/3 of the 117 physical soccer specialty stores, such as Dick's Sporting Goods in California, are illegally selling KLeather cleats, and 93% of the 76 dominant online retailers, such as sporting goods, including eBay, are in violation of California law. It says shoe companies such as, there's a couple of here that I don't recognize, but I'll just read out big ones, like Nike, New Balance, Puma, and others are shipping KLeather soccer shoes to California. So basically, I guess, like, if you go online to Nike's website and you want to buy cleats that have KLeather, it shouldn't be available to you if your shipping address is in California. I mean, other states don't have the ban, so they can still technically make them, but they shouldn't be able to sell them to you if you live in California because there's a ban. And CHE ordered shoes, what was it, from Nike, I believe? And they kind of like did like a swath of ordering, and they got them all. They got all the shoes delivered to them. So, and it kind of goes on to talk about the issue with the kangaroo leather, which is interesting, and it also talks about some cyclists, like other, and this is specifically soccer shoes they're talking about here, but the group of Olympic athletes wrote a letter to Nike demanding the company end its use of kangaroo skins, kind of talking about as athletes, why they feel it's important that this not be used. And so the CHE has created a no-buy list of all the companies that are currently using kangaroo leather, which can be found. The link is in the article. So if that's something that you are concerned about and you're not really sure, you can go there and you'll know where not to buy them from. So that's helpful. And hopefully we'll see what happens with this. Because if people knew about this, they weren't enforcing the ban. So who knows? This could have just been overlooked. This could just be, they could have, whoever is in charge of, doling out the penalties for these could have just turned their back on it, or they could have not known. Who knows? But we'll see what's going to happen with this. Poor kangaroos.
Poor babies. The hell is wrong with people?
Yep, it's pretty messed up. So, yeah.
Oh man, this no-buy list is long. Adidas?
Yeah, well, Nike's on there and everything. Dick's. There's like all the big names are on there.
Okay, well now we know.
Yeah, so you got to be careful if you're buying. Like I said, they specifically talked about soccer shoes. I don't know why that's. Maybe that it works best in those types of. I'm not sure, but so if you're looking for soccer cleats, be mindful of this. So yeah, hopefully that gets, hopefully they get called out for that as they should. So we'll see what happens. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much was new news. Like sometimes both of these stories just broke, so at least they won't be super old when you hear them on August 1st. So Robin, what's been happening at the Dollhouse?
Ooh, the Dollhouse has been doing some good work. I made some peach pie lollipops. And I've probably mentioned before that I'm not a huge fan of pie crust, so I don't usually make pies. I'd just rather have cake and ice cream and brownies and like mostly all other desserts besides pie. But it's peach season and I was feeling in the mood, and also lollipops are cute. And so the difference with having like a pie and a pie lollipop is the pie lollipops have more crust to filling. So normally you would think that I would hate these peach pie lollipops because more crust and less filling, which is not my thing. But oh my gosh, they were so good. And so I think everyone should go to my website and make these. They're not that hard to make, considering that most of the things that I put on my website are a little more time consuming. And they're really delicious and cute. So that's my highlight.
Definitely sound interesting.
I really think you would like them. And then another thing I made was a cookie dough sundae cup, which is basically like making a little cup with frozen cookie dough and then filling it with ice cream. You could fill it with other things, but I filled mine with ice cream. And this was a collab that I did with a cookie dough company called Sweet Megan's that does a gluten-free cookie dough and vegan, obviously. And then with Amy's, and I put Amy's candy bars into the cookie dough before I froze it. So it has candy bars embedded in it. Yes, it's pretty amazing. I still have one left in my freezer, Ashley. So maybe I could do a drop by for you with one of those and some lime chips, maybe. Okay, so yeah, the cookie dough sundae cups are another recipe that is on the website. And the last recipe that I posted was for buffalo chicken waffles. So I don't know if I've mentioned Carolans vegan chicken before, but do you think? I just recently discovered them, so I may not have. I met them on Instagram. They are Florida based, I think Miami maybe, and they're a vegan owned, Black owned business. And so I, of course, had to order fried chicken because I'm such a fan of fried chicken, and it's a hard thing to find good fried chicken. So that's vegan. So I ordered a lot and we divided it up. I think Matt got some while you were in Ohio. So he might have told you what he thought of it.
I think we haven't used it yet.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. I expect to hear a full report after you try it. So I actually did a live stream with Courtney, and we both made colored waffles to match our hair. And so she made purple ones, and I made purple and teal. And I made some ranch dressing to go on top, some buffalo sauce to go on top, and I cut up the Carolans vegan chicken and put it into the waffle batter so that there's pieces of chicken in each waffle. It was really, 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 really good.
That sounds delicious.
I'm such a fan of a savory waffle. That's what I think the third savory waffle recipe that I've posted on my website, so it's getting a little excessive. I'm gonna have to start a category for waffles soon. So yeah, that's what I've been making.
Yeah, that's all. God, you've been lazy.
I know. It's so funny how being trapped in your house 24/7 gives you a lot of time to make delicious food.
Gosh, yeah. I've just been reading, so. Read and run, and that's all I do. Run and read and run.
So now it's time for a special guest. If you're a longtime listener, you might remember when we talked with Courtney on episode 9. Oh my gosh, episode 9, that was so long ago. We were at the Vegan Food and Beer Fest in Portland. Ashley and I traveled there together, and we met up with Courtney in real life there. And this is the first time we're having her back on the show. Hi, Courtney.
Hello. So awesome to be a part of it. Wow, that's crazy to think how long ago it was. My goodness.
It really was, and how things have changed since then. So many things have happened with you. We can't wait to catch up.
Oh my gosh, no kidding. Yeah, because that was about 5 years ago. I think that was 2015 or maybe 2016. One of those. So yeah. Oh my gosh, 4 to 5 years. So much can change. I love it.
So, just kind of backtracking on all that. Obviously, we all had long journeys to when we met in person at the Veg Fest, but kind of going back from that, how long have you been vegan, and what brought you to being vegan?
Yeah. Basically, so I love telling this story because I was 13. I was 13 years old. And for anyone that's been to Texas and knows kind of the geography, there's lots of cow pastures, basically, that makes sense. We're in Texas. Not necessarily where I live in Dallas, because I live in more of the city part, but in Fort Worth, where a lot of my family is from. I was going to visit them. And of course, I'm riding in the back seat. I'm 13, going with my family. And we drive by a big cow pasture. And of course, I'm just so enamored with the cows. I think they're adorable. All I want to do is hug them. And then it really did hit me like a ton of bricks. Why do I want to hug this animal that I also eat in my double meat and cheeseburgers that I get from McDonald's? And I kid you not, guys, this is so gross and so wild. I used to eat McDonald's once a week. My grandma would pick me up from middle school, again, 13. And we would go celebrate Friday by going to McDonald's, and I would get a double meat and cheeseburger with, a cookie or a McFlurry or something. And it's just so wild to think that that's how I ate literally every week. And I couldn't do it anymore. I literally told my parents, my grandma, I'm sorry, I can't eat meat anymore. I can't at least eat burgers and, steak. I was red meat was no more. I was I saw that cow and I don't want to do that. It's messed up. And of course they were mad, mostly because I've always been a picky eater. It doesn't matter if it was meat. I'm picky in general. So it's hard. They were just oh no, another thing she won't eat. What are we going to do? So basically from there, I learned and did research about other types of meat, obviously. So it was slowly but surely I eliminated them throughout a 6-period year, actually. It was a 6-year process for me to go fully vegan from me making the decision at 13, mostly because I was under my parents' household, obviously, and I couldn't buy my own groceries and I couldn't really make my own decisions that way, which is a shame. I wish, maybe I should have pushed more back on them for that. But when I went to college, which I went to University of North Texas, which is in Denton, Texas. And for anyone that's listening that doesn't know, they have the very first all-vegan cafeteria. I kid you not. It's so amazing. They opened it in about 2010, and I went to college in 2012. So it was amazing for me as basically vegan. I was like mostly vegan, going to that college and being able to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner totally 100% vegan because I had a meal plan. And it was, kind of part of my student loans and whatever. But what's awesome about that is, like, I kid you not, it's not like they had a vegan section. It was all vegan, like the entire facility. You don't go in there expecting like to ask, oh, does this have dairy? Does this have meat? No, like it was so cool the fact that you could go in there and feel safe as a vegan. And I think that was so powerful for me coming into veganism because I was so excited about it, but I didn't know anything about cooking. I didn't know anything about, buying really ingredients. I just knew that I wanted to be vegan, and I did the most research I could, and they really like catapulted me to not only be able to do that, but also learn how to cook on my own by tasting the food that I got there and then going home and making it. So that was really cool. So basically that was back in 2012 that I officially made the switch. So I've been vegan ever since, and obviously no looking back. It's been such a journey, especially because I was what you call, and I know we all know this, the token vegan among all my friends. So I never really had a lot of vegan friends until I moved to Dallas, honestly, that I got fully immersed in the community here. As anybody knows that follows me on Instagram, I love talking about the vegan options in Dallas. It really is my passion because we have such a bad rep being in Texas. People just assume, oh, it must be really hard being vegan in Texas or in Dallas, unless you're in Austin. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, Austin has a lot of awesome options for sure. But Dallas does too. Like we have over 23 restaurants that are fully vegan, like over that. I forgot the number now. I mean, I know it's grown since then, but I know for sure it's more than 20. And it's just amazing. So again, like I encourage anyone who's like, I don't know, Dallas, for sure, come. If you're ever, well, not now, but when we're able to travel again. So that's it.
There's a couple things that I totally relate to, like what you said. I as well had that like kind of like lightning bolt moment initially when I was 21 and I was eating a burger and I was like, oh my God, like I don't want to do this anymore. Like I'm such an animal lover, right? Typical animal lover / meat eater, which doesn't really compute to me now, but at that age and as growing up, grew up in Ohio, in Cleveland, so also a place that's not known for its health or alternative lifestyle or diets of any kind, not super embraced there. So I totally get that vibe too. And then from there it became I was fully vegetarian from that point, but then the veganism took process started 5 years till I was fully vegan. So I also relate. And going back home, obviously I've lived in California for a long time and Orlando before that. But I was growing up in Ohio and the Cleveland area, even though it's like the biggest city in Ohio. Like I said, it's still Ohio. And over the years that I've been vegan or vegetarian and I've been going home to visit, I have seen such a huge boom in vegan and vegetarian options and restaurants and stuff, places I wish we had out here. And yeah, you never think Cleveland, Ohio would have good vegan options, but every day it's getting better. And I'm always as well being like, oh, this new place in Cleveland that opened or that has even like more mainstream places that have like fully vegan menus at least, but also lots of fully vegan places that I'm so excited to tell people about. Because again, like, Northeast Ohio isn't what you would think of as a vegan mecca. I don't know if I would go that far either yet, Mecca, but there's definitely a lot of options, and it's exciting to see in places that aren't the coasts and aren't obvious to other people.
I love that. Yes, of course. And people need to know.
Yeah, and also it's like you said about like growing up, like in your, obviously you're still living with your family. They're doing, they're making the money, they're buying the groceries, so you do what you can. But then also to see like wherever you're living, if you're a young person that's interested in veganism or vegetarianism, that it can be possible where you are to whatever degree that it is possible. But, I like the saying that just because you can't do everything doesn't mean you can do nothing or something like that. Just because you can't do everything doesn't mean you shouldn't do nothing. And so, there's degrees within your power. You're a child. You know what I mean? So don't be too hard on yourself. there's degrees to which you have control of your life and you don't. So, you just keep in mind that one day you'll be autonomous over your own life and you can make those choices. But you're starting, I wish I would have started at 13, even if I wouldn't have had total, control over things. But yeah, I was already out of the house. I had just moved to college. I went to college for 2 years and then I transferred. I moved out of the state. But I just moved from Ohio to Orlando when that started for me. So I was buying my own stuff. So I was fortunate in that way. But then on the other hand, I wish I would have started younger. So, the grass is sometimes always greener when it comes to when and how you came to these, revelations. So.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I love it. And I totally agree. And thank you for kind of putting that out there to everyone, because I feel like a lot of people have this all or nothing mindset that is just totally unreasonable, because we're human. Of course we're going to make mistakes. Of course things are going to be hard when you're first making a transition to anything, not just veganism, to anything. It could be a new workout plan or a new sleep schedule. I mean, whatever it is, like, it's going to be hard when you start. So don't think like, I must get it perfect right at the beginning. Like, no, who's telling you that,
Yeah. And also, like, the social, even those are totally true. You gotta have an added, some places and some people have an added hurdle with, like, the social aspect of becoming vegan. Whether being accepted by your peers, your family, and all that. So, yeah, finding what little, even if you find one friend that's vegetarian, if you're vegan, or vice versa, whatever, that can be a real good place to start, and finding someone that has similar interests as you. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So kind of swerving a bit. So I want to know about VEGWORLD Magazine. I see that you are the editor-in-chief of that magazine. So can you tell us more about that magazine and, like, what it offers for vegans?
For sure, yes. I'd love to get into that, because I've been a part of Edgeworld Magazine, my goodness, I think since officially 2015. And with that, so the company's been around since 2012. And I just happened to run into the owners at the time, because I took it over. Like, I wasn't the creator of Edgeworld. That's a common misconception. But no, I met the owners back in 2015 at a vegan restaurant in Dallas, of course. And I just ran into them and I recognized them because they were actually on a documentary, and they also live in Texas. They don't live by me, because, again, for those who haven't been to Texas, it's very big. They live about 4 hours away somewhere in Texas. And so I was happy to see them, and I basically walked up to them at their table and introduced myself and said, hey, I'm a vegan journalist, because I am. That's another thing. I went to college for journalism. That's my degree, advertising, journalism, marketing. That's my whole thing. And so I told them, I'm happy to help however I can. Please let me know. I'm very passionate about what you're doing, and, I'm just totally ready to dive right in. And they're like, oh, absolutely. Like, we would love to have you. And so we kind of hit the ground running with me doing some contributing writer articles, and then also, of course, helping out with advertising, because a lot of people, and I'm so glad I have this opportunity to talk to you guys and kind of talk to your followers too, because a lot of people have this common misconception. I don't know where people think magazines get money, like from the Tooth Fairy or something. I don't know. But, like, there is so much education that I feel like people need to know about magazines, because we all get money from advertisers, right? From ads everywhere. And so, that's something that I almost feel like there needs to be a masterclass on or something. But long story short, I help them raise money for ads. I help them get, new prospects, new clients in that way, as well as writing, because I just love both of those aspects. So anyway, I think there is a huge opportunity with just telling stories around the world for veganism. So after going to events for them, like, they would send me to Miami and New York and California for different vegan events, and I would report on them, but also, get more advertisers. And so, long story short, they came into a new project that they wanted to work on. They were actually opening up a animal sanctuary. I think it was a dog sanctuary in their part of Texas that they live in, which is called Longview. And they said, hey, we can't operate both VegWorld and this new animal, dog sanctuary. Do you know anyone that would want to take over the magazine? And this was actually at the time 2018. And so I told them, yeah, totally, because I wasn't in a position to take it over then. And I honestly just didn't even think about the opportunity. I was like, didn't even cross my mind. So I basically found a lady in Texas also that had some interest in starting her own vegan magazine. I was like, well, why don't you just buy this one? Take this over. And it worked out. She only owned it for a year, though. And then she came into some problems with her family and health and all these things. So she basically asked me, what if you took it over? And I'm just like, wow, why did I never think about this? So it really did hit me. I need to do this. And it was massive. It was a huge opportunity. So I did. I took it over officially last September. So I'm coming up on my year anniversary here. Pretty exciting. So basically what I want to do with VegWorld and what I have been doing is it is a vegan lifestyle magazine. And maybe a lot of people are like, okay, what does that mean? Basically, we talk about veganism from all walks of life, from all countries. I just did an interview with someone from Australia. We have interviews coming out of the UK, and believe it or not, our highest demographic that reads our magazine is UK readers. I think it's just because veganism is so awesome there. It's just so easy to be vegan in the UK. London especially, obviously. But yeah, so we talk about everything. Every issue has a different theme. Obviously, the one we're on now is our food issue. So we talk about, summer food, but also just food from other cultures. Like, I really want to be highlighting how you can be vegan in Ethiopia or, Australia or Ireland or just any country. I mean, you both have traveled, I know. So it is possible to have vegan options in other countries, and they're very accommodating, and a lot of cultures are just inherently vegan. And so we have writers from those countries come and talk, or we interview them, whatever it is. And it is a bi-monthly publication. So we just got out our July issue, which means it's our July-August issue. So the next one's going to come out in September. And I'm really excited for that one, too, because it's our animal advocacy issue. And I'm proud to announce the cover of the magazine is going to be Joaquin Phoenix. And that's actually, you guys are getting the exclusive on that because I haven't really announced it. We just kind of landed that deal. Pretty cool. He's going to be on the cover and do a little feature on the inside. There's some pictures of him that have never been shared. Of him actually at a vigil doing animal advocacy work, and pretty excited because we all know that Joaquin Phoenix is a rock star in the vegan world, well, also in the acting world, I suppose. So we're really excited about that, and I love the work I do, obviously, with our social media and Instagram platform. We're always sharing giveaways, and we're always doing fun promotions with brands. And so that being said, I will be honest with you, COVID has had an impact on VegWorld just because, things are just so in the air. But I will say, if you know anyone or if there's anyone that wants to advertise with us, which means in the magazine also, if anybody hasn't heard of us before or gone to our website, we are a magazine. It's not just articles online. We're not just on social media. We have a real printed magazine that you can purchase, or you can just go online and it's free. If you just want to see the digital version, which it's got flippable pages and everything. And I love it because they're designed beautifully by one of our graphic designers. It looks just like a real deal magazine, if you can picture that. Obviously, we're not charging anything. That's something that I actually changed for anybody that wasn't a VegWorld follower before. I changed it to be 100% free back in September. So why I did that is because I wanted to make sure that our content wasn't being blockaded buy anything. And it wasn't much. It was only $9.99 a year. So $10 a year. And I changed it to be no subscription. All you have to do is go put in your email address and you get our magazine for free. You get all of them, not just this issue, but all the back issues too, which, like I said, are chock full of great interviews, great business stories, awesome recipes, just really cool insights on, vegan fitness too. I mean, there's just so much in there. And I'm happy that our followers, our contributing writers and our advertisers are able to be seen so much just easily now. So I hope that helps too. And I guess to those that maybe don't have a business, then we'd love to have you as a contributing writer. If you have something going on that you really want to share with our audience, just the vegan, community, then please contact me, because we're always taking contributing writers. I'm always excited to work with different, people and tell their story. So that's something that anybody can do.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations on all that, especially the Joaquin Phoenix thing. That's really exciting. It was funny when you said that he's a big rock star in animal advocacy and acting too. Yeah, he's doing okay. I think he's doing okay with both.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I was a wreck after watching Joker. I was like, I actually put up on Instagram, I was like, if you have high empathy, you are going to have a really hard time watching that. So like, vegans beware watching Joker, because we tend to have high empathy. That's why we're, we usually are led to veganism. And he's vegan, so I feel like he really could empathize with the character. And oh my gosh, it was so hard to watch. But yeah, he's killing it right now.
I love it. Yeah, he's awesome.
Okay, so you touched on this a little bit, but about the magazine, but where can people find you or your projects online?
Yeah, so VegWorld is just vegworldmag.com. And that's, pretty much links to everything I do. And then for my stuff, so just kind of give people another insight. So apparently I just don't like to sleep or something. I have lots of projects. So basically, not only do I have VegWorld, but I also have a vegan social media agency with my business partner, Christina. And also, for those that don't know, I have purple hair, bright purple hair. Another reason we all connected here, of course. And then my business partner has blue hair. So we're the Sprinkles Girls. That's our company, Sprinkles Creative. I love it because our slogan is put some sprinkles on it, which means, hire us to do your social media fanciness. So we basically are a fully fledged vegan agency, which means that we work with vegan clients, products, restaurants, services, even vegan conferences and events. And so that's also something I do. So if you want to kind of check on that, if you go to my Instagram, I have links to everything there. My Instagram is just colormecourtney_. There's another Color Me Courtney. I will say she's amazing. Obviously no hate on her. She's got way more followers than I do, and I'm just like, dang girl, awesome. But I'm not her. So if anybody's looking her up and like, wow, look at her, that's not me. She's not vegan, which, whatever, she'll get there. But I'm the vegan one. I'm the one with purple hair. The other girl doesn't have colored hair, so there's that. But anyway, so Color Me Courtney _. But I have it linked for Sprinkles Creative, our agency, so you can kind of see what we do there. And then I also have VegWorld Magazine linked in my bio, so you can kind of go find them all there through my Instagram. So that's really what keeps me busy, obviously, is VegWorld and then Sprinkles, because it's a lot of work. Anybody who's in social media business, you guys know, social media is a no certain time frame job. It's always going.
Not a 9 to 5, definitely.
Yeah, you really don't sleep.
No.
All right, cool. Well, that was awesome to catch up with you. Do you want to hang out for Wagger Whimper?
Yeah.
All
let's
right.
do it.
Okay, so it's time for Wagger Whimper, our segment where we talk about a new vegan product that we tried for the first time, and we tell you if it made us Wagger Whimper. So, Ashley, did you try anything new this month?
Yeah, so when I was in Ohio, obviously with COVID and my dad, I did not get out. I got pancakes from Cleveland Vegan once. That was the extent of my fun vegan eating when I was at home. But I did go over my sister. My sister's been vegetarian for like a bazillion years, so I went over there for dinner a couple times. So we had taco night, and I am not a huge, like, as Robin and I have talked about a billion times on this podcast, but Courtney may not be aware. Like, Robin and I are not huge fans of, like, a lot of beef alternatives. Like, all the other ones, I don't care. Like, they can be as realistic as possible, but beef alternatives I get kind of squirmy about. Not sure why. It's totally psychological. So when I go to, like tacos or whatever, I prefer to just have veggies and, like, all that stuff. I don't really have any, like, beef substitutes for tacos. So, but my sister had the Morningstar Farms Chorizo Crumbles, which are not new, but it's just not something I ever would have, like, gone to. I never would have been drawn to them because I rather would just have all the veggies and stuff. So she had those, and you know what? It was really good. And I'm always scared about the beef stuff because I'm like, oh, if it tastes too much like it, I'm not even, if it tastes too realistic. Not that I even remember what beef tastes like anymore. I don't think it's been so long, but yeah, they were really good, and they kind of mixed well with everything else that was in there, and I was, like, pleasantly surprised because it's not something. Matt's a big vegan chorizo, obviously, fan, but I always preferred the veggie burritos, veggie tacos, all that. I just never went for the beef alternatives. But yeah, I was really surprised with it, and it was really good. So the Morningstar Farms Chorizo Crumbles made me wag.
Nice. Were they spicy?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know what you would think.
Okay, cool. Maybe I'll check that out. It's funny, Morningstar's been around longer than any other, like, meat alternative company that I can think of, but there were so many products that weren't vegan back then. And so I'm really happy to see that they're converting to more vegan products rather than just vegetarian.
Yeah, and I know, like, Turtle Island / Tofurkey has been around for, like, a billion years. I don't know exactly who came on the market first, but yeah, like I said, this isn't like a hot new product. It's just new to me because it's not something I would have gravitated to on my own.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Courtney, do you have a Wagger Whimper you want to tell us about?
I do, yeah. So, as you know, and I post this a lot on my personal social media too, but we get a lot of products for VEGWORLD to review, to talk about, which is an honor. But oh my gosh, it's crazy. I'm always swimming through boxes because they send stuff all the time, which is great. But oh my gosh, I will be honest with you, I've had some really bad products lately. It's so bad. And obviously, like, I am very picky. So let's just put that out there too. Like, I've always been that way. So not only am I vegan, but I'm a very picky vegan. But I do know what's good. I think I have a good palate. So there's this new oat milk pudding. And so it's not yogurt. It's not like chia seed pudding. No, it's oat milk. And I was really excited about it because they have really cool flavors like French toast, brownie, just really unique flavors. And I was like, this sounds awesome. I was expecting something like yogurt. Like, I was thinking it was going to be that texture. But okay, it's a company called Noops. Yes, Noops. Noops. Very strange, but it's cute, I guess. So oat milk pudding, and there's no added sugar, which is cool. And you get 6 grams of plant protein. But guys, this stuff is weird. Like, the texture, it's too thick. Like, it's almost ice cream, but obviously not, because it's like not even melted ice cream. I don't know how to explain it. It's just so thick and weird. And it's not like pudding, because pudding's a lot softer. And I get it. Oat milk is very, it's a thick, dense milk, but like, the flavor is nice, but the texture was just like, no, I don't like this at all. It's too much where it would throw you off. Like, we had a couple bites, my fiance and I were taste testing it, and we're just like, no, like, it's not too sweet, which is good. It's just like strange. I would never get it. I literally still have it in my fridge, and I think I got it like almost a month ago. But because I keep telling myself I'm going to try to eat it again, but then I look at it and I'm like, no. So there's that. And then, okay, I am a huge nacho fan. Like, nachos are my life. I love them so much. I could have nachos every day. And so I'm a pretty big vegan queso connoisseur, not going to lie, especially being from Texas. We eat a lot of queso. So there's this queso by this company, and I might get some hate for this, but this company, everybody loves them, and I honestly don't get it. No offense. But this company is like, I get it. Their dressings are really good. And people rave about them, and maybe a lot of the influencers that work with them, again, not to be harsh, but maybe they're paid to say this. I don't know. I don't get it. But maybe that's just me being me. So anyway, it's called Mother Raw. Have you guys tried their products?
No, I've never even heard of it.
Really? Okay. I feel like I just keep seeing them on my Instagram everywhere. Everyone's like, I love them. And I'm like, okay, you do you. But yeah, so no, their vegan queso is terrible. And I even told them, I was very straight up with them. So I got it out, and it was like, first of all, the oil was like separating from everything else, which was like a huge turn off. I was like, what is this? This is gross. And I stirred it up, and it was still gritty. Like the oil mixed with it, but it was like gritty as heck. And then I put it in the microwave because obviously like queso should be warmed up, duh. And then it was even weirder. And I tried, like, guys, I really gave this a go. I tried to dip chips in it, and I was just like, no, what the hell is this? And so I sent them a picture too, and I was like, hey, is your queso supposed to do this? Like separate and be gritty and like very strange. And they were like, oh, sorry, we've had some complaints on it, and we're trying to work at it. We're trying to get better and reformulate. I'm like, okay, just saying. I'm like, don't get me wrong. The flavor was pretty good. It wasn't bad. But the texture and like the process of like stirring it and even dipping a chip in it was just like terrible. Terrible, terrible. So anyway, any other queso lovers, maybe give Mother Ross a few months to reformulate, and maybe it will be better. I don't know. But there's that. So those are two that I really just made me whimper.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That I wonder so I always think whenever I try a really terrible product, I always think, did they even test it? Did they have like maybe 2 people try this before deciding to put it on the shelf?
Yes.
And I wonder if the whole like separate-y, gritty thing happens only over time. So they tried it when it was fresh, and they were like, oh yeah, this is great. But they didn't like give it a couple weeks and see how shelf stable it was.
Could be. Yeah.
Robin, this takes me back to us trying the Ripple yogurt.
Oh my God! Me too. I was thinking about it the whole time Courtney was talking about it. Especially because Courtney, you mentioned the protein content, and that was Ripple's thing too. They were like pushing the protein, and it had such a weird consistency. Oh my goodness, those protein yogurts, man, you got to stay away from that shit.
I heard that. Actually, I feel like I remember the whole Ripple debacle, and everyone said it was so awful. Because their other stuff is great, obviously, but like their yogurts were just like garbage.
Yeah, it was like, did literally anyone taste this before they sold it? Because that was how bad it was.
Yeah.
And I like, Robin is more not picky, but like she's more like, oh, this is not good. I'm like, yeah, it's fine, I'll eat it. And like that's, I don't have a ton of whimpers, but that I was like, we didn't even finish it. We each took a bite and like threw it out. It was awful.
Yeah, and I'm like the person who like never wastes food. Like if there's something I don't like, I'll find a way to eat it. Like I will smother it in gravy. It doesn't matter. I'll make myself eat it. But that yogurt went in the trash.
Dang it. I'm the same way. That's why it's so frustrating. My fiance has to remind me, like, just throw it out. And I'm like, no, but I need to eat it. But you don't like it. I'm like, I know. I want to like it. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome. All right. Well, my item is also not new like Ashley's, but I wanted to touch on it because I think there's a really important distinction, and I want to make sure that everybody else does not make this mistake. So, Late July, the company, they're not a vegan company, but everything is organic, and they make some really good shit, such as my favorite chips in the entire world, which are bacon habanero chips. They come in a red bag. In that same line of the bacon habanero chips, there's another one that comes in a green bag, and it is called jalapeno lime. Also very delicious. So when you send someone to the store for you because it's COVID and you're maybe not shopping as often, and if one person's already going, then they might as well pick up for a few people, right? So don't tell them just to get the lime chips. Be very descriptive. Take a photo of the bag to send with them, because Zen came home with some late July lime chips. They weren't the green bag. They weren't the jalapeno lime. They were more of like a tortilla chip looking bag with like a see-through window. And I've had the late July sea salt chips in that same style of bag, and they were delicious. These lime chips were not delicious. The lime tasted like fake. I don't know. It tasted like something that you would like buy a little bottle of lime oil from like a vendor off the street. I have no idea. It was not good, and they definitely made me whimper.
Oh no, I hate it. 'Cause late July, everything is so good. So that's That's upsetting.
I know. I have 2 bags of those terrible chips in my garage right now. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, Matt will eat them. I guarantee you that.
Oh my God, maybe I can give them to you.
Yeah, and then I can tell you what I think, because sometimes we don't agree.
Sometimes we don't.
There you go.
Okay, I'm into it. Okay, well, thank you so much, Courtney, for joining us. That's the end of our episode. We're on Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube, Breaker, Podbean, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and we'll be somewhere else if you want us to be there. Just tell us. Leave us reviews. Visit us on the internet. We'll put Courtney's contact info, her Instagram, and the link to her magazine in our show notes so that you can find everything we've talked about, links to all the recipes we talked about, links to the news stories we talked about. Everything will be in our show notes. As always, you can find Ashley at theveganadventure.com. You can find me at vegandollhouse.com, and you can find our podcast at dollsanddonuts.com.
Okay, so that's our episode. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Dolls and donuts, dolls and donuts. We are 2 dolls. We like animals. As a bonus, we eat donuts.